Hey guys, this is your host Thomas Tyree here from On the Hot Podcast. Today, this could be the Combat Series episode number 125 for you guys today. And to kick off this week's episode, we'll start off in the sport of boxing, and I'll be sharing my thoughts on Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis, that exhibition possibly being canceled. So, the news broke Thursday of Gervonta Davis' name being brought up in headlines and reports for the wrong reasons less than 2 weeks away from that exhibition fight against Jake Paul that will be streamed on Netflix. So Netflix and Most Valuable Promotions, Jake Paul's promotions, have came out with statements, reports saying that they are investigating and the details going on with Gervonta Davis. It is a civil suit right now, a new civil suit over domestic allegations. And as we speak, Most Valuable Promotions and Netflix are currently looking for a possible replacement for Gervonta Davis on that Netflix card. So I'll get to that as this segment goes on, but this is not a good look for Gervonta Davis, and this exhibition fight that's supposed to take place Friday, November 14th, could possibly be canceled. So I'll be sharing my thoughts on how I feel about Tank Davis right now. As a Gervonta Davis fan, I love him so much. I love watching him as a fighter. That's actually my favorite boxer right now in the sport. But enough is enough. I cannot continue to back up Tank for these allegations that he finds himself in, getting in legalized trouble outside the ring, putting his hands on women outside the ring. This is not something that fans should continue to back him up as. And this is not good behavior outside the ring. And it honestly makes him look like a piece of garbage outside the ring. Now, Gervonta Davis is a professional fighter inside the ring, right? You go and pick a fight with somebody outside the ring with your fist and you're not defending yourself, that is considered a legalized weapon if you put your hands on a male, especially if you put your hands on a female. And for Tank Davis's case, he can never keep his hands off a woman. Why is it you continue to put your hands on women, but you won't get in there with fighters that fans are dying to see you fight? Names like Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, Teofimo Lopez, Keyshawn Davis, a rematch with Lamont Roach. It is so frustrating to continue to see Gervonta Davis do this type of behavior year in and year out outside of the ring in the sport of boxing. And honestly, for a Tank Davis fan, it seems like this is a Tank Davis trend. I'm getting tongue-tied. I'm so pissed off. But it seems like every single time Tank is about to get in the ring, 2 weeks out, a month out, he gets brought up in headlines for the wrong reasons. He's either getting arrested before the fight or legalized trouble is coming towards him. And I could bring up a prime example of this when he got arrested 2 weeks before the Hector Garcia fight back in 2023, early 2023. But Tank, this is your way out, your scapegoat out of boxing to get a $40 million payday against Jake Paul in an exhibition. Why are you throwing away one of your biggest paydays of your career to continuously put your hands on females outside the ring? You ducked Lamont Roach to do this with Jake Paul. Now you could possibly throw it all away. And maybe, just maybe, this woman is lying about Gervonta Davis. We don't know. More details are going to come up. The reports were stated October 17th, or 27th, excuse me. But this is not a good look for Tank. I mean, if this was a one and done and this has never happened, maybe I could be like, hey, maybe she's lying. But this is a continuous thing that's going on for Gervonta Davis. Him threatening females, putting his hands on females. It's not cool. It's not cool. So I cannot continue to back up this type of behavior out of Gervonta Davis. It is sad. It is a frustrating time to be a Tank Davis fan. I wish him all the best. If this is your final, if you do get this exhibition against Jake Paul, and this is the final time we see you in boxing, I'll always remember him for the great memories. But outside the ring, I cannot say this man is a good person due to the things that he continuously does outside the ring. So it's sad, it's frustrating. But anybody saying that I'm hating on Gervonta Davis, I'm not. And this is not the first time, this won't be the last time that this is going to happen in boxing. Because a few years ago, Gervonta Davis was supposed to fight Rolly Romero in December 2021. Now, obviously, they fought each other months prior in 2022, but they were actually originally supposed to fight in 2021. Rolly Romero had to pull out of that card 2 weeks before the fight because he had his own sexual allegations that he had to attend to. And that's how Pitbull Cruz stepped in to be a late replacement for Gervonta Davis. So I'm not hating, nor am I wishing for this exhibition to be canceled. But in the past, it's been done. And it's been done for a Tank Davis opponent. So that's why I said I don't know if this exhibition is gonna go on or not. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But I'll tune in to see if somebody's gonna get knocked out that night. But other than that, business is business, and Netflix and Most Valuable Promotions has every right to explore all options to possibly replace Gervonta Davis, because at the end of the day, boxing is a business. You put out all this money to promote the fight, all this money to have the fight, all this money you got to pay for the fighters that's on the undercard, like one of the best female boxers in the sport, Alicia Baumgartner. You're paying a world champion, Gary Russell, to defend his WBA title on this card. The list goes on and on. Like, you got to find a realistic replacement for this if you're Jake Paul, Most Valuable Promotions. I don't blame him or Netflix, because at the end of the day, boxing is a business, and an opportunity like this for someone out there that could accept Jake Paul's contract, why throw the whole entire card away for someone that cannot stay out of legalized trouble? That is the honest truth about the situation. Now, we can move on. Like I said, Jake Paul and MVP, Most Valuable Promotions, came with a statement. They're reviewing the situation. They are looking for replacements, possible for Jake Paul to get a replacement fight in December. Now, or someone could accept the fight very late, 2 weeks away from the exhibition. Now, replacements that Netflix and MVP have reached out to over the last few days are the following names: Ryan Garcia, Terrence Crawford, Francis Ngannou, and Nate Diaz. Now, I'll share my thoughts on who I do believe would be the right choice. But out of the names I just said, process of elimination, we already seen Nate Diaz versus Jake Paul in a professional fight the summer 2023. I don't need to see that again. Jake Paul dog walked Nate Diaz, and I think a lot of people knew that was going to happen, but I don't need to see that again. Terrence Crawford, I wouldn't be mad at Crawford except in the bag, and it would do numbers, yeah. But I don't think Crawford has any business to do this unless he just wants the big payday to embarrass Jake Paul. Hey, I'm on board for it. I don't think it would be Terrence Crawford. Now, the two names that I do think could be a good replacement. Oh, I forgot a name too. Edgar Berlanga's in the mix too. But the two names I do believe could accept this could be Ryan Garcia and Francis Ngannou. Now, if Gervonta Davis is pulled from this Netflix card, this Netflix exhibition fight between himself and Jake Paul due to the allegations that he will be facing very soon, Ryan Garcia and Francis Ngannou are the two best replacements for Gervonta Davis. Now, it's unlikely between Jake Paul and Ryan Garcia. I think that's an overall better fight than Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis, because it's not a 60-plus pound weight difference. But Oscar De La Hoya basically already shut that down, that Ryan Garcia will not do business with Jake Paul because he signed to Golden Boy Promotions. He's basically being a dick, a Richard, holding Ryan Garcia hostage because he has one more fight with Golden Boy. But I think Jake Paul and Francis Ngannou, that could do numbers. I think that would actually be a really fun fight. Now, whether Francis Ngannou is willing to step in and accept it on a 2 weeks notice, or the card gets pushed back to December, I think that's a fun fight between Jake Paul and Francis Ngannou that would have to be sanctioned as a pro fight, because that could easily be made at the heavyweight division. I mean, I saw what Francis Ngannou did to Tyson Fury in a boxing ring, his boxing debut, dropping one of the greatest heavyweights of this generation in the third round when they fought in 2023. I think Jake Paul has the advantage because he's more experienced as a pro. I think the heavyweight route makes more sense. It'd be more entertaining, and it could be sanctioned to a professional fight. Edgar Berlanga would be a fun choice. I think that would actually be a really fun fight at the cruiserweight, because Edgar Berlanga is only a division or so away from Jake Paul fighting at the cruiserweight division. So I think that'd be a good, entertaining bout as well. But we'll see what happens. Nothing has been official yet. Something to monitor. But those are my thoughts on Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis's exhibition possibly being canceled very soon in the sport of boxing.